Hello everyone, this is the promised recording of the Zentangle class. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do each of the three tiles. These were examples actually I did at the 3 o'clock class. And I'm going to do just the whole series on one given tile. So, and then I'm going to break, so after each tile I'm going to make a break and then start up a new video. And that way you can, for one thing, it's a little bit easier to upload, but you can just see each one as one at a time, and feel free to stop the video when you're watching it at any time and catch up. And hopefully this will be easier to see. I've changed my position in my home and my very professional camera holder here as a mason jar. So anyway, here we go. Let me get my tiles out. We're going to start with Crescent Moon. And first off, I'm going to start with appreciation because actually it's a great way to start. And I just appreciate all of you for tangling with me and giving me the opportunity to show you how to do this. And I hope you find it fun and you can incorporate it into your life in some way. So here we go with Crescent Moon. We start with the corner dots. And then we do our border. I'm turning my tile, so that it's comfortable for my hand. And my borders for this are going to be pretty straight. Just trying to get through the tangle itself and some variations. I'm going to be moving along relatively quickly so that I can get through the videos pretty quickly. Take your time as you need to. There's a lot of just kind of down brain time in the coloring of these things, of the various tangles. So I'm going to rush through them, but don't feel like you have to do that. All right, so Crescent Moon. We start with a ladybug shape or an arc and then a line. Oh, I should have talked my way through this. So we have our border dots, and today, the string, see, we're having the same problem. The string is going to be one straight line down, kind of cutting your tile in half, and then a quarter turn, and then the same thing from the line you started to the border, cutting our tiles into workspaces, actually, as it is, little workspaces. Okay, so that's the beginning string. Back to the ladybug. And you can see that my little bumps here, my little ladybugs, are not all the same size. If you like things that way, feel free to make them the same size. Make them as consistent as you want. All right, so there are my ladybug shapes. And then we go to the aura. It's just a distance away from your arch, and you want to just kind of mimic the arch out away from it. I always make my arch towards me, and I turn it so that my arch is in a comfortable flow with my hand and my wrist. I have found that my arches get really funky. They're not if I don't do that, or or the tangle itself becomes uncomfortable. We don't want to be uncomfortable while we're doing this in any way. Be careful of the pressure that you're holding your pen with. And if you're noticing discomfort in your thumb or your wrist, feel free to change the position or the way that you are holding your pen. I haven't done this in forever, but so when I was a kid, for a while we held our pencils between fingers, and I can't do it that way, but I can do it this way. So feel free to, to do that if it's going to be, wow, look at that arch. That's surprising. See, you'll be surprised too at how, I just am, how much easier it might be. Because I can't get all the way down to the original string liner border here, I'm going to just stop there, and I'm going to leapfrog my arch over to where it can touch the line. I'm going to start my other aura here, and that one doesn't really fit down there very comfortably, so I'm going to start leapfrogging right there as well. Oh, let's see, that arch is kind of wonky there. One of the things I don't believe I brought up in either class was that there are no mistakes in Zentangle. We learn from everything that we do. And so if you feel like something didn't go the way you wanted, go with the flow of it. I'm going to just whoop, see? And then go with the flow with it and see what happens. And it might be something that you end up using in the future, in future tangles, future compositions. Whoops. And I turn my tile to make sure that I'm comfortable as I do my tangle. I have to be careful of my shoulder. So this has been really nice because I can draw on without putting a lot of pressure on my shoulder. All right, and I'm going to stop there. We have a pretty big gap in here. If you want, actually, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and just put a little aura in there, like that. And I'm feeling like I'm just going to color that in. I have a little bit of time here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. All right. So now on to, we're at 8 minutes. Now on to the next variation of crescent moon. I'm going to do a circle-ish about in the middle of this space. The reason why is it just makes it a little bit easier to complete the form this time, but you can really put that circle anywhere when in your string spaces. So my crescent moon's going to be more like a hat. And then I'm going to do another one on the other side. And then auras. Whoops, that was a little bit backwards for me. Also, if you can't get all the way around and you want to complete your aura in this from coming around, you can. A couple little tips that I learned in art school. As you lift up your pen, try and kind of gently lift it up, and then gently put it down as you're making your aura around. You tend not to have a glob, although there's a little bit there. It tends not to be quite so globby on the line that you're drawing. It takes a little bit of practice. If you don't want to do that now, don't worry about it. It doesn't really affect your tangle if that is there, by the way. It usually gets absorbed by the tangle itself in one way or another, either the shading or just the lines. So often the things that you see as glaring mistakes don't even show up at the end at all. And no mistakes in Zentangle. I'm going to go ahead and do the 2 R's there. All right. See, those were a little bit tighter than I wanted, but we'll see what happens with the tangle. I'm sure the tangle won't mind. I'm just going to go ahead and put my auras on because they're not really affecting another tangle right now. All right. All righty. There is that tangle. All right. Now the final crescent moon is one that's a little bit more random. We're going to kind of combine our first 2 crescent moons. We're going to do our ladybugs along the edge here. Going to kind of space them out. You know, I'm going to put one here in the corner like that. Given the fact that I started that one there, kind of a distance away, I couldn't comfortably fit a whole ladybug in. So I'm going to put that one there, and I'm going to put that one there, put another one about there. And for fun, I'm going to just bring one up the side over here, and I'm going to make it, oop, apparently it's going to be kind of flatter than the other ones. I think I'm going to leapfrog that, and I'm going to leapfrog that, and I'm going to do this one like that. All right, and I'm going to stick my hiding ladybug in there, and I think I'm going to put one here. And I'm feeling like I want to put one right in here. And I'm going to go ahead and use that string that we created to just block where that ladybug's going to be sitting. I'm going to use that as my border, my boundary. And I'm going to go ahead and put my 2 in because it doesn't affect anything there. And I think that's the same here. Oh, I think I really want to put one in there. That's screaming for a ladybug. All right, so there is our crescent moon. From that standpoint, I'm going to go ahead and start the shading. We went through the shading before, but here we go. As these auras have been completed, they kind of form kind of this channel of V's. And I'm just going to go along that with my pencil and create a line down there. And if they don't quite, actually, the more kind of off they are, the more interesting that channel gets. But if they don't quite add up or come in line, you can either leave one of the V's out or you can add it to another one. Like that. I've lost my vision. There we go. All right. And then we're going to take the tortillon and we're going to smudge that line gently. Using the side of the tortillon will get you more of a smudge. Using the tip will get it a little bit more precise. Also, the pressure that you use on your tortillon will make a difference as to the smudging or how you blend in that color. And don't be afraid to try some different things. You can go down with that, there's the tortillon leaves graphite on, or picks up graphite, and so there's a little bit of graphite on your tortillon, even where you didn't color. Um, so as you're shading this, if you decide, I kind of just want to shade into this gap, to this centerpiece like that. I want to do that, and I'm feeling like I want to take this piece of this graphite and bring it over, and because this feels like it's kind of squishing in, so I'm going to make it feel like it's a different shape. Feel free to do whatever you would like with your graphite, but this is just an example of what you can do to shade. So we're going to come over here to the second variation on Crescent Moon, or the variation, our first variation actually on Crescent Moon. And I'm just adding graphite where the arches kind of meet. I couldn't quite explain that very well when I was doing the classes. So kind of where one when they kind of meet up, I want to say crossover, but they don't really do that. They meet up. That's where I'm adding my graphite on this particular. I'm going to add some in here on this particular tangle. Be a tad careful with the graphite. What I found is that if you just don't smudge it really far, you can keep some pretty good graphite darkness on your tangle, but you don't turn your entire tangle gray. I did that the first couple. I had just gray tangles. I kind of overdid the graphite. I think what I actually did was overdid the smudging. You can always add more graphite down if you want more graphite. So that's our first variation. And now our last one. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one. I'm going to add some graphite along the edge here where there is no tangle. Let's see what happens when we do that. Kind of have a line of graphite on here, and that's fine. Right up against the edges of the tangle. Okay. So there is Crescent Moon. Let me find I'm going to write Crescent Moon on the back. I'm going to sign this. Date it. Let's see, 12/10. And then I'm gonna for myself put this as class 1 1. So that's my first tile of class 1. And then I'm gonna find a spot on my tangle that I would like to add my chop. And I'm looking at it. There aren't any tops and bottoms. Your chop can be put anywhere. I'm going to stick mine right here. Okay. And that is Crescent Moon.